Welcome to the show that has it all. This is the Betfred Super League.
What a game!
Champions, challengers, newcomers, leagues faithful. Hold on tight. This is the Betfred Super League 2024. There's nothing like league.
Yeah. No! Got me here. It took a big chunk out of me. Bleeding. It's bleeding. Oh no, it's bleeding. The thing just ripped my ear off. What do you think?
Hello and welcome along to this week's Eddie and Stevo, the podcast, where with the blessing of major sponsors Betfred, we discuss all things rugby league for the next 30 minutes or so. And for all of you who've been scratching your head and asking where the heck we've been this past couple of weeks, I've got to confess, my fault this time. I've been away on holiday, getting away from this awful British summer. So we've got lots to catch up on. And first of all, Stevo, the third coaching casualty of 2024, Ian Watson, given the boot by Huddersfield. 2 years ago, he took them to Wembley, got them into the playoffs. What the heck's gone wrong, do you think?
Well, obviously, he's lost it with the players and he's lost it with the officials that run the club. I mean, to lose 48-0 at Warrington, obviously, it's got to be the final straw. Ken Davey wouldn't have taken too kindly to that. He openly apologised to the Huddersfield fans, and the writing was on the wall, simple as that. And yet, 2022, they took Huddersfield to the Challenge Cup final, and I think they finished third in the table. So people are saying, well, what's gone wrong? Well, they've either got the wrong players or the players are not happy with the coach. It happens in any sporting industry. It's nothing new. And once you lose one side of it, either way, you're a goner.
Well, I must confess, Luke Robinson took charge at Lee at the weekend. They lost again, 20 points to 16, but there was a lot more fight there, probably a bit too much for Andre Cervello. He was sent off for the second time in 5 appearances. Now, that didn't help, did it? That didn't help.
No, and I suppose the frustration amongst the players is that, let's get in and try to sort it out and then get away from what's been happening. Look, when you lose faith in your coach, when you lose faith in yourself, in your ability, that's when the trouble starts. And they were left with no other option. Look, 48-0, that points a finger at either the players are not doing the things that the coach wants them to do. It's very difficult. Look, we've lost 3 coaches already this year. It just shows you. I'm glad I'm not a coach.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, 8 defeats in the last 9 games didn't help Ian Watson. The Giants now seeking their 11th coach in the Super League era. Tony Smith, Rowan Smith, the previous 2 coaches to go this year. Rowan Smith, apparently, speaking today, he has an appetite to return to the coaching ranks, and Huddersfield could be the target. What do you think?
Well, it's like, what have we got left? Have we got any other options? Obviously, they'll probably be ringing some of the agents down in Australia. Who have we got? We've got Brad Arthur that's come over for Leeds. What is there for 14-week contract? There's also rumours that Brad Arthur has been in conversation with the Perth side. The Perth Bears will be allowed, according to the NRL, they'll be the 18th franchise and they'll be allowed into the NRL in 2027. So that's probably the main reason why Leeds couldn't say that Brad Arthur is coming over for more than just this season.
So Brad Arthur is keeping his coaching ability warm with a look to going back to the NRL. Fair enough. Look, listen, we're talking NRL. Let's talk internationals. We look back at that international weekend against France. What a damp squib this was. No television, a poor crowd in Toulouse, I think less than 5,000. Now, look, I know that you are a really keen advocate of international football. This is probably where we're going to fall out for the first time in 35 years. Stevo, what's the flipping point?
To play for your country has got to be the pinnacle of any sporting person. It's as simple as that. And we are slowly but surely eroding having to bring back international competition. There's a lot of talk about it. There's even talk about the return, dropping England and returning to Great Britain. Now, Great Britain is acknowledged as tourists, especially in Australia and New Zealand. And let's face it, Australia, the NRL, they are controlling rugby league all over the world. Simple as that. Because A, they've got the money, and B, they've got the players.
You don't need money really to attract television companies to come and show the England international women and men on the TV in this country. No one wanted it. No BBC, nothing from Sky, no one. Look, I know it's in the middle of Wimbledon and the Euros for the football, but come on, Stevo, nobody cares about England and France, do they?
Well, you look back over the last 3-4 years, is that the Rugby Football League has given other companies the opportunity to cover our game of rugby league and charge them nothing. In other words, they get it for free. And yet, we can't even have an international covered, even if we give it away for nothing. What a situation we are in. We can, what on earth is IMG doing about the International Federation? What are they doing about the television companies? Have they approached them? We don't seem to know. I'm sick and tired of trying to find out what on earth is happening. The only thing that we've got of late is that all the clubs have decided they'll back IMG.
That's right, they have. The Rugby Football League actually have issued a statement because of all the criticism. Carl Fitzpatrick, apparently the latest chief executive to voice some concerns and said that he was losing faith. Here's the response, Stevo. RL Commercial and the clubs continue to benefit from IMG's advice and support across many areas of the sport. Now, in its second phase of its 12-year strategic partnership agreed in 2022, with a major focus on competition restructure, brackets grading, and digital transformation, including the launch of Super League Plus, which is hosted by Endeavour Streaming's global platform, in addition to building the profile of Super League star players.
What about these people that's streaming? Why couldn't they stream the international?
Well, I think it was available, but a lot of people have said it's been difficult to get on the system. So I don't know. I mean, look, I'm old-fashioned, you're old-fashioned. I plug a television in, I expect to see the match on the telly.
I understand that, but we've got to get it on at least the Sky platform or other satellite platform, or even more impressive, have it for free on BBC. Simple as that. Now, where's the negotiation there? Have we read anything about the fact that the BBC said, oh, we can't, we've got Wimbledon, we've got this, that, and the other, or whatever. In other words, we're so far behind that it's laughable. But it's so laughable that it could see us lose international rugby league. And that would seem, as far as I'm concerned, the end of any youngster wanting to play for his own country. To deny a young boy or a young girl the opportunity to put on an England or a Great Britain shirt is deplorable.
There is light at the end of the tunnel, Stevo. Super League is going stateside. Warrington and Wigan will play in Las Vegas on Sunday, March the 1st, 2025. All 4 games are going to be played in Las Vegas, and all 4 games are scheduled this time for Sky, starting at 9:30 at night and going right the way through to the early hours. So there is the will on the part of television companies, by the looks of things, to do this sort of thing. They didn't want to know about the international. But, I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good on paper. Do you think? I mean, it's going to happen. There's no question about that.
Well, it'll happen. It happened this year, didn't it? Okay, I know that the NRL, they're desperate to break into the American market because that's where the big money is. They understand that. And they're trying their best to make a breakthrough in there. But it's not going to be easy. Why can't they put that same amount of money into lifting our game in this country?
Questions. The Super League season, Stevo, starts, apparently it's been announced, February the 13th next year. The World Club Challenge due to take place the following week, though that's not been 100% signed off yet. Now, if, say, Penrith, who are going, or Cronulla, or Canberra, or New Zealand Warriors, win the NRL Premiership, say Wigan or Warrington win the Super League Grand Final, can we get the World Club Challenge in? Will the Aussies come here first and then go to Australia?
Well, they probably would, and hoping that they will accept that. But I'll put it this way, playing 2 games within the space of 7 days, right, as far as I'm concerned, would be difficult. You're talking about brushing aside the World Club Challenge. A lot of people in Australia said, I don't know why we bother. So it isn't as though everyone's going to be so excited about it. And yet, when they had the Las Vegas the last time, there were so many Australians that went over there. And it's so expensive to get there. It's going to cost a lot of money for you to go there. The last time they did it, they didn't make any money whatsoever. They lost quite a lot of money. Are we prepared to just throw this World Club Challenge to one side at this extravaganza? Do we need it? Is it going to be any benefit to our game, the NRL, or is it going to be any benefit to the RFL or Super League? There's no profit going to be made. It's going to be played at a loss.
Well, they do say, Stevo, you have to speculate to accumulate. And I think we should take our hats off to Chris Radlinski here, because I hear that the NRL wanted Wigan and Warrington to play not on the Saturday, but on a different day as a one-off game. And Chris dug his heels in with them and said, no, if we're coming as part of the Jamboree. So Wigan and Warrington will kick this thing off next February. So well done to Chris Radlinski. It is a bold move. Wigan have forfeited their home advantage for the clash against Wigan. So the points are out there to play for in Vegas. Remember, 1988, I was there. Wigan played at Warrington in Milwaukee. It was a showpiece, a challenge match. Catalan have played Wigan in Barcelona. Wigan have played Hull in Wollongong all those years ago. It's a spread the gospel idea. I get that. But Stevo, Cumbria, London, South Wales, what's going to happen to them?
Then they've just been pushed to one side. Simple as that. Oh, well, it'll never be a success in those 3 areas which you've just mentioned. And look, I don't hold back from the fact that let's try to be adventurous. But the thing is that it's going to cost money that we don't have.
It's going to cost supporters money as well, because from bitter experience, I can tell you, I'm not dropping names here, Steve, because you've been there a million times, but I was in Las Vegas not long ago, and we went into an Irish bar, right, for a bite to eat before we went to see a Michael Jackson tribute show, right? We sat at the bar in this Irish bar, very nice, nothing wrong with it, and oh, hello, there's fish and chips and mushy peas on the menu here. We'll have a bit of that. So we had 2 of them. I had a pint. Carol had a shandy. The bill came. Now sit down, Stevo. £145. That's how much it cost to eat fish and chips and a pint of beer and a shandy in Las Vegas. So you're going to be You've got to be on your sort of money to be able to afford to go.
I'll put it this way. I bet your lovely wife, Carol, had to sort of wake you up after you fainted when they gave you the bill.
She had to pick me up off the floor.
Listen, that's just an aside. If you can afford it,
I know.
All well and good, Eddie. I'm not blaming that. But all I'm saying is that we seem to be aiming for the top when we have problems at the bottom. And we seem to push it to one side. You just mentioned the fact that you've been in America when you had a game there. Did it help our cause? No. Is this going to help our cause? I very much doubt it.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. By the way, can I just be a bit controversial again for another time? Why, Stevo, why do we have to follow everything that the Australians do so slavishly? I'm talking about Golden Point. Is it that golden anymore? Because a couple of rounds ago, London went to Leeds at Headingley and they battled away for a 16-all draw at full time. Then they lose to a Brodie Croft drop goal. Didn't they deserve at least a point for such a gallant effort? And the same weekend, Hull KR went down 14-15 to the Catalan Dragons. We've slavishly followed this idea. What's wrong with a good old drawn game?
I agree with you. It's not often I do, but I do agree with you. Obviously, you've got to have it in a Challenge Cup situation. Remember, in the olden days, if you drew, you had to go into the opposition's ground. They had the home advantage. So at least it took the pressure off shall we say, off the players in regards to, their fitness levels, etc. and so forth. But I agree. If you get a draw, then you get a draw. Well, I mean, the soccer doesn't do too badly with it, do they?
No. Different kettle of fish, that, Steve. Different animal. I mean, I can see why a Golden Point in cup ties, Years ago, Salford and Hull KR's £1 million game, I think, was decided by the Golden Point. But seriously, isn't straight extra time, a better idea? Player welfare, of course, comes into this. They can't play until they drop. I understand that.
Well, I suppose a lot of players, a lot of clubs, coaches, and would perhaps say after 80 minutes, if it's all square, then we get 1 point each.
Yeah.
That 1 point in the olden days often saved one club from being relegated. And of course, now there's no such thing as promotion and relegation unless you get 3,000 points on this new situation or whatever. If you had a good brand of coffee in the cafe, then that will probably give you another half point or a point. I know you may think that I'm being frivolous about all this, but I honestly feel that what you do on the field of play should be the only thing that counts.
I couldn't agree more. You're absolutely right. Look, let's get positive. Let's get positive on this podcast. We normally are.
Then listen, how can we feel positive? Listen, I'm nearly at the stage of crying.
I know. I can appreciate that. But let's look back to matches last weekend and briefly forward to the coming weekend. Last weekend, okay. Warrington beat Leeds 30 points to 18. Never really in trouble, the Wolves. They're up at half-time. Leeds rallied a bit in the second half. Leeds introduced their new coach. We've talked about him already, Brad Arthur from Australia. He's got a hell of a job on his hands. Fourth coach in 7 years. Can he get them to the playoffs? If not, why bring him? Why bring him over? Why not leave him with the lads who are there now?
Because when you bring someone over from Australia, there's a little bit of hope. And that's what they're thinking about in regards to, right, we'll show the fans that we're not just stagnant. We show the fans that we'll do this, that, and the other. And we're going for a top quality coach in Brad Arthur. Oh, I may say, Parramatta is at the bottom of the league table. So
I said be positive. Come on.
Listen, you can't escape the truth.
No, you can't. But Brian Carney, our old pal on Sky, he posed the question on an interview he did on social media: would Leeds be any worse off now than they were under Brian McDermott when they parted company with him 7 years ago? It's a good question.
Well, of course, it's a good question. I'm sure they wouldn't want to bring him back, but a lot of people are saying Brad Arthur, is he one of the top coaches in Australia? Well, if you look at the league table, you'd have to say no.
No. Well, I wonder if Paul Rowley is going to follow Ian Blease to Leeds from Salford, as many people seem to believe. I mean, look, Paul Rowley, Brad Arthur, Uncle Tom Cobley and all, whoever gets the job full time at Leeds, there's a bit of work to do. There's a bit of a clear out needed, isn't there?
Well, yeah, but once again, it wasn't all just emotion. When they did the tribute to Rob Barrow, they won. Yeah. Why wouldn't the people that run Leeds Rugby League Club say, well, they've lifted the players, will an Australian do even more? I'm not so sure that they would. I mean, I don't know what they're paying him. He's on a 14-week contract. I suppose in many ways he's made a statement that says that he'll try his damnedest to bring a new formation, bring a new attitude to this, that, and the other. Well, what was wrong with the attitude when the assistant coaches took control? They won the game. Maybe that escaped them. I'm not right sure. Look, rugby league coaches, players, it's a ruthless game. You get cast aside, pushed out of there, this, that, and the other. There's no sympathy, no sentiment. It's hard line.
Well, Wigan and St Helens the following day, Stevo, was by far the best game of the season so far yet again. This is the standard for Super League. Others must try and follow them if they can. But hey, we've said that for years, haven't we? What has made this game so special? The intensity and the emergence of young players filling in for the established stars like Bevan French, who's out for a couple of months with hamstring trouble, and Jai Field, and Lewis Dodd for St Helens. Names to look out for in the future, Stevo. Didn't they play well? Zach Eckersley, Jack Farrimond, and for St Helens, Harry Robertson. They all caught the eye.
And the reason why they caught the eye, Eddie, is that they are very good players. And when you use the words St Helens, Wigan, and you'd have to say Warrington now, is that the youngsters want to play at the top level. The good youngsters coming through our junior developments. But again, it's all about, can we offer these juniors a stable contract, a good contract for them to sign? Can the other clubs match them? The answer is no. Do we have enough talent to go around? It's no coincidence that when you look through the junior development at the likes of Warrington, Wigan, and St Helens, they've got young stars coming through. And they don't just knock on the door and say, I'd like to play there. They have to be enticed. And that enticement, whether we like it or not, is a decent contract where a lot of the other clubs cannot match. But it's not easy.
No, very difficult, and very difficult too for St Helens at the moment in the Super League. 8 first-teamers out with injury. That's a heck of an injury list for Paul Wellens. Have you heard this rumour, Stevo, that our old pal Lee Breers might be coming back in 2025 to be the assistant coach to Paul at St Helens next year? What do you think about that?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. It is a hero. Bring back a hero and everyone will bow.
But he's a hero, but not at St Helens. He's not a hero, Steve. Oh, he started there.
Yeah, but he's a hero to the game of rugby league.
Yeah.
It's shown down in one of the hardest competitions in the world. He's shown down in Australia how we can develop young players coming through. I think it's marvellous that St Helens or any other club wants to bring him back in. If I was running rugby league, the first thing I would be doing is bringing back this guy who's done such a wonderful development of bringing juniors through in Brisbane. I'd bring him back to rugby league. I can remember the days when we used to have so many junior coaches I was excited about getting more and more players playing our great game. And that just fell by the wayside. So to bring back someone who's proven that he can do and develop young kids coming through, I want him to be back here in Britain, not in Australia.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Well, let's wait and see. I mean, it'd be good to see him back, Lee, if he decides to come. Last but not least, a couple of blockbuster games to look forward to this weekend. Saints and Warrington. We talk about Saints and Warrington and Wigan all the time. Saints have lost 3 in a row now, so it's a must-win for them. Warrington, 3 wins in a row. 2023 matches against St Helens and Wigan, and they've got them coming up over the next couple of weeks. Completely trashed their year in 2023. I think they will go to St Helens a little wary this weekend.
Well, of course, it's a game of the round, isn't it?
It is.
Simple as that. It's no fluke that these two teams are probably, along with Wigan, of course, the best in Super League. And therefore, what we should be looking at, and I hope that all the tickets have already been sold, it has to be a sellout. At least we can get something positive at a time when there's a lot of negativity going around.
Wouldn't it be lovely to see every seat filled and every place on the terraces filled for that match at Headingley? But by the way, Warrington, they've got Luke Yates from Huddersfield joining early for the rest of this year. They've done the deal. He was coming in 2025 anyway. Joe Bullock has left Warrington for the time being. He's gone on loan at Salford. But it looks like Luke Yates might be making his debut in the game against St Helens. It's got all the makings of a cracker, this.
Oh, of course. It's, don't miss it. It's as simple as that. And when I say don't miss it, we get back to the fact that the international game, no TV company wanted to do that, but you'll get that live on Sky. At least they are giving, Sky are giving, and it's not just because you and I work there, they are giving out to everybody that loves rugby league the opportunity to get youngsters to watch it and get youngsters hopefully to play it.
Well, the other big game is Leeds, who are in 7th, and Hull Kingston Rovers, who are on 3rd. Now, this is a must-win for Leeds this weekend. It's at Headingley as well, but Hull Kingston Rovers, I mean, they are just floating underneath the surface, aren't they? They're going really well.
Yeah, they've had their up and downs, and I think that they don't have as much depth as the other teams that we've been talking about. But they are a good side. When they hit top form, they're great to watch. I enjoy their style. You know, their coach has given them carte blanche. Look, go out and enjoy yourself. And that's what I like to see in a team. Not just defense and get the opposition down to ensure they don't score, but they're adventurous. Their coach is adventurous. The players are adventurous. I like watching them.
I do, and I like that Mikey Lewis. I've said about him for a couple of years now. I mean, he gets under everybody's skin, but there's a young man who is really making a go of things, and there's one who's come through the ranks, Stevo. So you never know. They're out there.
Yeah, but the thing is that it wouldn't surprise me if Mikey Lewis, I know he's signed a long-term contract with the club, but don't be surprised if he's plucked from this country to go down under.
Oh, I hope not. I really hope not. Let's not leave on a negative note. Let's leave on a positive note. We've got another great weekend coming up in the Betfred Super League. And can we reflect it all next week? Are you available? Are you in France? Are you tasting the wine? What are you doing next week?
Well, you said you wanted to finish on a high, Eddie.
Go on.
I'm glad that I'm back talking to you.
You're full of it. You're absolutely full of it. We'll talk next week, and let's hope the sun keeps shining. See you in a week's time.
See you, top man.